Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, good people. Good morning to my soul family. Good morning to my friends all around the world. Welcome to another video on this channel. I'm your host, Johan. And the name of my channel is Make It an Amazing Day. Make it. It's your choice. It's your decision what kind of day you're going to have. So why not make it an amazing day? How is your heart today? Is your heart kind? How is your mind? Is your mind calm and clear? Chosen ones know that all of God's children are equal. Chosen ones know that all of God's children are equal. Let's talk about it. These teachings that you listen to on this channel, they don't come from me. They come through me. And the purpose of this channel is not to tell you things, but to remind you of things, to remind you of who you really are. Who are you? Far too long, we have been told that God is not within us, but God is outside of us, and we need to find God. Where do you find God then? In church on Sunday? You go to meet God for an hour on a Sunday? Maybe you feel you won't be enlightened until you go to a retreat. I need to go to this retreat to get enlightened. Why do people feel they need an intercessor to explain what God is all about? God's right here. God's right here. There's an interesting quote from the Bible as well, that the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's attributed to Jesus, who said, don't look for it here, don't look for it there. It's within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. God is within you. I guess you could say my goal on this channel is to reveal to you what I found over the decades on my search for a better quality of life. That search included understanding myself. Who am I? Why do I do the things I do? Why don't I do the things I should do? And the things I shouldn't do, why do I do them? I'm not here to tell you something you don't know. I'm here to remind you of something that you may have forgotten, and that is all God's children are equal. No one is above the other. All God's children are equal. And our spiritual aim isn't to become something that we present ourselves as this all-knowing human being because I could recite this or I have this memorized from a book. I'm here to remind you of how important you are to the divine, to the one. When I say all God's children are equal, you might think, Johann, could you explain to me the differences between God's people? Well, I don't really care to delve into the ego, which basically is our description of ourselves in our minds. Let's call the ego the description of ourselves in our minds. And therein lies the problem. Who we think we are as opposed to who we truly are, and who we truly are is. We are the children of God, the divine, the one, and we are all equal. The only difference between God's children is some are cognizant of where the power lies, that power, that source that brings us closer to the divine, the one, God, higher power, that power. The only difference is some people have forgotten where they truly come from and who they truly are. And that is, we are all God's children. If we are all God's children, why are we picking at each other and fighting at each other, fighting with each other, I should say, about who knows what's best for us? You should truly know that yourself, what's best for you. This reminds me of a saying I heard way back in the meeting rooms of the 12-step program, Alcoholics Anonymous. I remember the saying well. There are people that believe, I don't, there are people that believe anything you put before your sobriety is the first thing you'll lose. I want you to think about this for a minute. Anything you put before your sobriety is the first thing you will lose. Is sobriety that important? It doesn't matter what your addiction is, okay? It doesn't matter what your addiction is. Here's what I've learned after having 13 years of continuous sobriety, 1988 to 2001, getting complacent, going back out, and then returning August 24th, 2004. Here's what I learned. Anything that I put before my spiritual maintenance, my spiritual being, my spiritual life, anything I put before God, that power, the divine, will be the first thing I lose. And what are you losing anyway? We're not talking about material things, okay? Your car, your house, your motorcycle, your boat, your camper. We're not talking about material things. What you will lose is your mind. You will lose your mind. Have you ever heard someone say, that person's losing their mind? So you get it, right? My teachings don't come from me, they come through me. Because I have a relationship with the source. I have a connection with the source. Part of my spiritual maintenance every day is making conscious contact with the source, the one, the divine, the higher power, God, making that connection. And after a period of time, we develop God consciousness. God consciousness. Not from a book. Not in a building. Not by someone that says you cannot know God, you need an intercessor. None of that. Because God is right here. The kingdom of heaven is right here. And what we have learned is we've distanced ourselves from that. We've distanced ourselves from the source, and we've decided to run our own life, to make all the decisions without much thought. Chosen ones know that all of God's children are equal. Some are close to God, have that relationship, and have God consciousness. Others don't. And the ones that don't are relying on themselves, their ego, their character, their personality, to explain how to return to the source, how to return to the divine, how to return to God, how to return to the power that is our Creator. You won't find it in a book. You won't find it in a building on Sunday. You will not find it by listening to someone that says, you don't know any better, so I need to explain it to you. What I'm telling you is, you have all the answers right here. You've just drifted away from it. And you need, if you want to improve your quality of life, to return to it. The source, the divine, that power. As God's children, no one is better than the other. As God's children, we are all equal. Some are just not connected, some are. And the others are relying on self-knowledge to explain the existence of God. I've discovered that when certain people see a title that talks about chosen ones, they think I'm talking about what it says in the Bible. I'm not. I'm not talking about a group of people that God has favoritism for. God does not have favoritism because all of God's children are equal. You're either close to God or you're far away from God. And if you're far away from God, I'll know by your behavior. If you're far away from God, I will know by the words you speak. I made a video a long time ago. I don't remember the title, but if you look down at all my videos, you'll see a woman's egg and you'll see a sperminator going toward it. That's the thumbnail, okay? You know that process. Do you know what it takes to start a human life? Do you? After a certain act between a man and a woman, sperminators are released inside, and they take this course toward an egg. Millions of sperminators take this course toward an egg. Science tells us when they reach the egg, there are about 200 sperminators left. So we've gone from millions, taking that course, to about 200 sperminators left. The sperminators approach the egg. The egg then releases a scent. The egg releases a scent. And only one of those 200 sperminators is attracted to it. The sperminator is attracted to it and meets the egg. Now, if you understand the depth of importance of that description, it's just a phenomenal thing to think about. And when I say chosen ones, I'm talking about that one sperminator that was attracted to the scent the egg released, like perfume. Out of millions, it started out with millions of sperminators, down to 200 sperminators, and one is attracted by the scent, that perfume, the egg lets off. Now, if you don't think you're chosen in that aspect, I don't know what else to tell you. Out of millions, you were chosen by that egg. The mysteries of life, the mysteries of God, the mystery of our being here on this planet is what is more important than something from a book. The next time you're approached by someone who has a specific belief when it comes to God, and they tell you, my way is the only way, I want you to remind yourself that all God's children are equal, and that's not God speaking. It's not God saying, my way is the only way. That's not God speaking. That's just the human mind that has distanced itself from God, is no longer connected to God, does not have a conscious contact with God, and imagines something. The next time someone says to you, your beliefs are wrong, my beliefs are the only way, you remind yourself that all of God's children are equal. The only difference is some are still close to God, others have drifted away, and they're making things up as they go along. There's only one way to connect with the Creator. There's only one way to connect with the divine. There is only one way to develop God consciousness, and that is meditation. I don't have time. I don't have time, you might say. If you have time, if you have 5 minutes to check your text messages in the morning, you have time to meditate. If you have time to go on Facebook in the morning, you have time to meditate. If you have time to play video games in the morning, you have time to meditate. What you put before your relationship with the Creator is what you're going to lose eventually. Like this creek behind me, when I sit in meditation in the morning for 5 to 10 minutes, my thoughts flow. Water flowing in the creek, my thoughts flow. If you've ever walked along a creek or a babbling brook, you know that at some point there's this like pond. The creek flows in, the creek flows out, but there's a pond, like still water. That's what happens when I sit and meditate. My thoughts flow like this creek flows. Like the creek goes into still water, a pond, then my mind becomes calm and still. No distractions. I get up in the morning, I go to the bathroom, I grab a coffee, I sit in my deck or in my kitchen if it's too cold, and sit in silence. No distractions. My 5 senses are not distracted by technology. I do not get up and turn television on. I do not get up and start playing video games. I do not get up and start watching pornography. I do not get up and think about somebody that hurt my feelings 5, 10 years ago and how I'm going to get even with them. I do not get up and think about gambling. I do not get up and think about what I'm going to eat. I put God first. I put that connection with a higher power first, and I make that connection through meditation. Chosen ones know this. That's what brings us back to right here. To right here. God's not out there. God is in here. We are one with the Creator. We are all connected. That's what that means. We are all connected. Chosen ones know we are not better than anyone else. Chosen ones know that the source of our strength to get through every day is right in here, not out there. And the only way to connect with it is through meditation. I just turned 66. And in my life, I have never, ever come across a situation that I said, this happened to you because you got God angry. I never said that. I never saw it happen. The source of our troubles is, as chosen ones, we know we have drifted away from the source. Before books were written, before buildings were built for worship, before there were intercessors that said, no, you can't figure this out yourself. You need somebody to explain it to you, and you have to do what I say. Before all that, thousands of years ago, times of antiquity, societies and cultures realized or had that intuition that to connect with God means connect with nature. With nature. That's why I built this sacred grove in honor of my ancestors, the Danes, the Vikings. They had sacred groves. And then I traced their bloodlines to Magna Germania, which is what the Romans called Germany. But at one time, the top of Germany, closer to Scandinavia, wasn't Germany, it was Scandinavia. But they had sacred groves. Your ancestors, if they're Celtic, had sacred groves. Scottish had sacred groves. I am sure that your ancestors thousands of years ago met in places like this. They met in places like this because here is where it starts every day. Every day. Here is where I come to think about issues that may be troubling me. And sit in a natural surrounding unencumbered by technology, making that connection with the higher power, the source, the divine, God, All-Father, the Great Spirit, Allah, Muhammad, Jesus, Yahweh, Sita, Ram, Buddha. Does it really matter which entity you choose to connect with if that entity is showing you the way to go? And in that way to go, your quality of life is improved. And when your quality of life is improved, you like yourself better. And when you like yourself better, you tend to like other people as well. Because at this point you understand yourself. And you not just don't understand yourself, you understand other people. Some people are close to the source and practice spiritual maintenance every day to connect with that higher power, the divine, the one, and others don't. That doesn't make us any better than anyone else. That should propel you to be a walking and talking example of the power that you are conscious of, that you have connected to. Chosen ones know that all of God's children are equal, and in that there is no debate. We are all equal. The decision you want to make is to discover, are you getting closer to God or are you moving further away?